we go. Welcome to the very first episode of Fourth and Loud. I'm Action Jackson. That's Lispy Lou. And we're talking NFL, the Chicago Bears, and everything the rest of the league does that makes you want to yell. Let's get loud.
Woo!
Alright, so big couple of games. I hope everyone had a very happy holidays and a very Merry Christmas. Few games got played yesterday on Christmas Day. Obviously, we'll talk about Dallas holding off Washington, winning 30-23. We also have Detroit losing to the Minnesota Vikings 10-23. How about that, Lou?
You're out of there. You're out of there. Hey.
See you later.
That was a very Merry Christmas present the Minnesota Vikings gave to both Bears and Packers fans, as the Bears won't have to worry about playing that offense in the playoffs this postseason at this point, and the Green Bay Packers clinched their playoff berth with that loss by Detroit yesterday.
Yeah, 6 takeaways. Just what a way to end the playoffs.
Five
takeaways.
for Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
Two interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, or 3 fumble loss in that game. That's the second time he's done that. I think it was back in 2018, possibly. The other one was. It's not that thing I expected, but I mean, Minnesota's defense has been playing like a top 5 defense in the league for the past 5 weeks, and I mean, despite they're not playing for much of anything other than, their pride here at the end of the season, and it's a draft pick coming up in April.
I'm pretty sure Minnesota also netted only like less than 20 total offensive yards that game.
No, you're slightly mistaken. It was actually, it was 50 some odd passing yards, and that was the first time that a team won with that low of passing yards in quite some time.
Gotcha. All right, and don't forget, last night also, Sean Payton and the Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos held off Kansas City and the Chiefs. That game was 20-13.
That game in its own, Broncos took care of business in KC. We all know KC's banged up, and their playoff hopes have been over for a little bit now, and the Broncos were able to take care of business, not go in there and put themselves in a tough position. They lose that game. They really open up the door for the Patriots for that number 1 seed in the AFC. So
yeah, definitely agree with you 100%. All right, so let's move right along and let's talk about these playoff matchups and what this playoff looks for the 2025 season. I mean, in the AFC, pretty sewed up. Denver at number 1 in the West. Pats right there at number 2 in the East. Jags number 3 in the South, and you have Steelers in the North taking up that number 4 spot, and you also have Chargers and Houston and Buffalo fighting for wild cards. I mean, what do we look like for all that?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, Pats. I think the Pats locked up the East. Buffalo's gonna be stuck at that wild card spot. Gonna have to win a road game wild card weekend to stay alive. I still think there's a chance the Pats may be able to catch Denver, but it's going to be one of those playing everything right and everything falls the right way, but I'm pretty sure Denver will lock in that 1 seed. And one of the big ones here, the Jaguars. What a surprising team this year. What a surprising team.
Trevor Lawrence.
I thought Trevor Lawrence would have been like a Miami situation, to where they're talking about benching their quarterback, or there's already talks of them drafting someone.
The Jaguars have been coached really good this year, too.
Big surprise for me, and we got the Colts in Baltimore on the outside looking in. The Colts need everything to happen their way. I'm pretty sure it involves Houston losing out, and I know they match up in Week 18. And Baltimore, their road to the playoffs is a division, and they're ruined forever who's playing the Steelers the rest of the year, that's for certain.
I definitely think that the Colts really are hoping that Phillip Rivers can at least get them somewhere on this cusp. Every game that they're playing for the next 2 games, they're playing with their livelihood on the line for their season this year for playoff hopes.
Absolutely.
I just don't know that Phillip Rivers has it anymore like we thought he did 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
It's a great public relation PR story for the Colts and the team, but I just don't know on paper if they can really do that on the field.
And hey, we'll dive a little more into the matchups here in a little bit, but these teams still got some matchups left both this week and Clyden in Week 18. So, I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
that's our AFC playoff picture. Why don't you head us into the NFC? Let us know what's going on over
All
there.
right, so in the NFC, we have Seattle in that number 1 spot holding down the West. We have the Bears holding down the North. It took me a long time to be able to say that. I never thought I'd be able to say that this season. Also, you have the Eagles at number 3 playing in the East. Don't forget about those Panthers playing in the South. San Fran and LA and Green Bay on those wild card bubbles. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm surprised a couple teams are out that are out, but I mean,
Yeah.
but how we let it off. I mean, Detroit this year, man. As I said, very fortunate not to be playing them in the playoffs.
Definitely.
That's a team that would be the last team you want to see with how explosive that offense could be at any given moment. I mean, that's nice not having to see a team like that and Minnesota being able to take care of them. But I mean, Seattle, Sam Darnold. I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop with Sam Darnold, and I mean, I thought there wouldn't be success out Minnesota, but I mean, Mike McDonald's doing it out there, and that offense is clicking. He still has his games where he has his mistakes, but I mean, right off the cuff, I mean, Seattle's playing good ball, especially with that I'd say top 3 defense up there in Seattle, and I mean, Philly's just doing Philly things. I mean, I think that has a lot to do with the banged up NFC East, and I mean, Dallas's defense couldn't figure it out until they played the monopoly game at the trade deadline, and then things kind of started to settle in, and it was just too little, too late for them.
Yeah.
So I mean, still they weren't walkovers, and you know they still got clipped by the Cowboys in the second half of the season there, but I mean, Washington, banged up as they are, they're still not on the tier that I put Philly. I like Philly as one of the top tier teams still in the NFC right now. And Carolina, talking about Carolina, I mean, they still got to finish the season. They got a tough matchup this week. They got a division rival Tampa next week that I really think that may be a season decider, but you know that's yet to be said. And with the games left with both San Fran and LA, the 3 of those in the NFC West, I still think we could see some movement there in Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay needs a lot of things to happen and a little help from some other people to really move around. And obviously, Tampa's the one who sits on the outskirts at the 8th seed with the last hope to make the playoffs right now. But that's literally going to come down to division play here in Week 18 between those 2 teams, I believe.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think the NFC is just it's like a changing of the guard as far as team-wise, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would have never thought that a team with Sam Darnold would be number 1 sitting atop the division right now. I would have never. And they sold me a couple weeks ago during that LA game where they came back, and it was a slobber knocker of a game. I mean, Stafford threw for almost 500 yards.
And we thought he was going to retire.
And Darnold still somehow managed to get that game, and they went for 2 and won it. It was just really, really good. And Chicago's another team. A lot of people saying that Chicago should not be here right now this year. I don't know. It's a changing of the guard with all these teams. Carolina, we were just last year thinking about Carolina.
Bryce Young benched.
Yeah.
Bryce Young benched.
Yeah.
Part of last year.
Exactly.
He comes back in, plays a great end, and finishes off last year great. And I mean, this season he still had his ups and downs. He still had his low 100-yard passing games, but he still has a 400-yard passing game this season.
It's unbelievable.
So you never know what you're going to get with him or what you're going to get with that team. But I mean, you always got to stay on your feet. And I mean, with that said, and what I'll touch on Chicago with is football players always talk about there being a little luck in the game.
Yeah.
Our Bears, we've had a lot of luck, but we've had a lot of execution happen this year, especially on the defensive side. Small, intricate things that are coached to them are actually getting executed, and I think that's what's helping the result in a lot of these turnovers, and it has all these players playing with like a higher confidence, and like almost playing on a higher level than what the expectations would be out of a lot of these guys, especially some of these backups like Nashawn Wright.
Yeah, definitely 100% agree with you. What do you think about next week? I mean, the rest of this week's games. Got a couple of games going on tomorrow, obviously. Any games that you think are big standout games for tomorrow?
Both games tomorrow are big games for I won't say all 4 teams involved, but I mean it definitely has playoff implications and seeding purposes.
Sure.
For all the teams involved, you got Houston at the Chargers. We're gonna start with that one.
Yeah.
That top Houston defense this year that doesn't give up more than 16 points a game regularly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if they do, those are normally games they end up losing. But when that defense, which it has more than not this year by their 10-5 record this season, especially with C.J. Stroud healthy and under center, that's been a successful team. But I'd never count out the Chargers because Justin Herbert's balling this year, and when that run game's healthy out there in L.A., that team's hard to reckon with. I think that's a big matchup. I mean, Houston wins that. I mean, we could kiss the Colts season goodbye.
I think you see the Chargers winning. I think Chargers winning tomorrow. I think Chargers win tomorrow. I think Keenan Allen looking to try to get a couple of yards and a couple of touchdowns to get that added $1 million bonus on his contract that he has, right? He needs a couple of I think he needs 2 more touchdowns.
You're on the money, Tom. That's where the extra motivation.
Yeah, so I just think the Chargers. I think the Chargers beat Houston tomorrow. I definitely think.
Okay. I'm actually on the other side of that train. I think C.J. Stroud's going to go to L.A. and get it done. They want to lock their ticket into the playoffs and still have a shot at that division, depending on what the Jags do against the Colts later this week as well. And that's a Sunday game. And before we jump into that, I mean, well, let's look at this Saturday night game.
Okay.
Baltimore at Green Bay.
Yeah, no Jordan Love for Green Bay. He has been ruled out right before we started recording, out with that concussion. And Malik Willis will be starting for the Packers.
Well, that's honest opinion. If it's Malik Willis, me personally interested. This is more an off-season look, right?
Yeah.
He goes out there and he looks anything like he looked like against the Bears in relief for Jordan Love. I mean, this could be a tryout to end up somewhere next year.
QB1 in it for next year for some teams, right? Yeah, he's coming off of a injury too, also against that Bears game with a limited participation this week in practice with a shoulder injury, but he is going to start against Baltimore. Baltimore, they don't have Lamar Jackson playing. I mean, it's pretty much Green Bay's game, right? Like, this game is pretty much showed up to be Green Bay's.
It should be. I mean, one thing we got to watch, especially coming off the injury, I'm still not convinced Jacobs may be 100% healthy for that Green Bay team, and not having a Love. I mean, Malik Willis came in and plugged and played against the Bears, and he looked all right, and was pretty productive. But my concern is now that another team has tape on him. I know Baltimore doesn't have the best defensive line in the league. That's could really get there and get pressure on the quarterback consistently. But did they figure out something with Malik Willis, or is he going to have an explosive game that's pretty much going to fetch him a bag next year?
Yeah. I don't think.
And my other concern is same problem that Green Bay's kind of had all year, that run defense. Derrick Henry on the other side. I mean, we know we got a backup quarterback, and Huntley can move around a little bit too if that's who they decide to go with Saturday night. So, I mean, I'd be concerned for the Packers in that sense. And, I mean, this game for me, picking it, I'm on a coin flip. I'd probably give it to Green Bay because it's in Lambeau.
Yeah.
But we all know Baltimore is playing desperation football.
I think if Baltimore can figure out a way to get that run game started quick and early in this game, I think that Derrick Henry can possibly hold it up. I mean, there is no Micah Parsons in Green Bay. There's nothing really going to stop Derrick Henry if he can have a good game and a good turnaround.
I agree with you, and I'll add a little capper to that. Okay, an early lead. I think Baltimore needs an early lead.
Come up
I think they got to get up ahead on the road early, and I think they could have a chance. If they can't do that, and it turns into a defensive battle, I think Green Bay could probably get the better of them.
Yeah, agreed with you. What other games you want to touch about on Sunday that have playoff potential ramifications with a win or a loss?
This is where I was touching on the Houston game. We got the Jaguars at the Colts here, And I mean, Colts trying to hang on to any playoff hope right now. And anything that left. I mean, the Andrew Luck first injury with the broken leg. Him still playing. The game he does play with the injury. You could tell he's not moving like he used to, and I felt like that's what was really a big dynamic of that offense. And then losing him, and Phillip still looked good. Last
his throwing arm.
The first, like almost the whole first half.
Yeah.
Against San Francisco last Monday night, he almost looked good.
Can't hit a long ball.
Yeah.
Can't hit a long ball yet. He cannot hit a long ball. He's throwing 20 yards or shorter.
If I was 44, I'm not 44 and I can't hit the long ball.
But he can still read that defense just like he did 5 years ago. I mean, it's almost like he didn't lose a step with that 5-year difference.
He's still got the quick release.
Yeah,
He's still got the quick release.
Definitely.
But, I think due to that, I think Jacksonville kind of seals up where they're at with that NFC or AFC South division and locks that in for themselves. And then at week 18, Houston's got the Colts. I off the top of my head, I forget who the Jags have, but I think that's the Jags division to lose right now. And I mean, outside that, the games this Sunday, the next one I got to talk on, it's a big one, especially in the NFC with the battle that's going out west. You got Seattle at Carolina. A surprising Carolina team who came back and beat Tampa last week.
Again, I'm hooked, Lou. I'm literally hooked on Seattle with this game. I don't see Carolina being able to do. I see Sam Darnold. It's Sam Darnold's game to lose. If he figures out a way to throw 4 picks or something, 3 picks or something.
Even on the road.
I think that defense in Seattle is what's going to win the game. If Sam Darnold can at least produce a couple touchdowns, the defense will hold it down.
If you asked me to bet this game, I would agree with you.
Okay.
But seeing how I'm not betting this game, the way Carolina's playing, knowing the pressure that's on, that would be on if they were to, slip a game, and how much next week playing Tampa would cost.
Sure.
I think Carolina's going to pull out all the stops this week and find a way to beat Seattle. And put the pressure on Tampa next week or this week to make that and who Tampa's at Miami. Okay, I'm not saying that's going to be a walkover game, but Tua's not even starting any of that. Miami's a train wreck right now, so I say Tampa wins this week, so that's kind of puts the pressure on Carolina, and I'm sure, some of those staffers think about that in the back of their head, like, okay, coach, like, maybe we should pull out a little more of the stops this week. This is a pretty hard team. And also, my big thing about that game with Carolina and Seattle is that's 2 teams who are lined up in the playoffs right now, okay?
Gotcha, yeah.
So I think both these teams need to kind of just go out there. I think it could be a close game, and I think it will be a close game, but I think both teams should really be going out there and playing this like a playoff game. Seattle's trying to hold on to NFC West, number 1. Carolina's trying to hold on to the NFC South, and Seattle's still playing for the 1 seed, trying to hold that 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they got Chicago right on the doorstep. They got San Fran and LA, depending on some outcomes this week, right on the doorstep. So
what are they, 12-3 Seattle right now?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So I just again, Seattle's got to lose it on their own in order. I don't see anything really stunning with Carolina's defense for any takeaways in the game. It's going to be Seattle's game to give it away if they're going to lose it.
Yeah. I
100%.
I agree with you there. And, I mean, last game I really want to talk about here, this Philly at Buffalo. In the day slate anyways. I mean, we'll get into the night matchup a little later here, but this Philly at Buffalo game's interesting. I mean, Buffalo's trying to stay within that 1 game, hoping, New England will slip to the Jets. Unlikely. I think New England's wrapped up that division. Buffalo's locked in that wild card. That's my personal opinion based off the remaining schedule for both of them. But on the other side of that, Philly, I mean, they're sitting quietly at that 3 seed at 10-5. This NFC West is going to play each other, and they're playing some tough games across the league this week and next week. I mean, there could be a lot of seed changing over here in the NFC. You know, if Philly just keeps quietly winning, they may just quietly sneak up, and all that drama all year with them about their 3-game skid, their 2-game skid. I Everyone questions that, and they're still going to be standing on the other side like, oh yeah, look at us, we still ended up with the 2 or 3 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, I like Philadelphia in this game. Lou, I like Philly in this game. I know they're the number 3 seed going into the playoffs right now, but they are defending Super Bowl champs of last year. I will tell you a couple of things. Josh Allen, limited participant in practice due to that foot injury he sustained in that game last week. I really think that the Buffalo defense will not be able to stop Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, or the rest of the wide receiver crew, and giving Jalen Hurts some room to throw. I'm expecting a big game, productive from the offense on Philadelphia, unless Buffalo figure out a way to keep the ball and keep time and percentage.
You want to know what I'm expecting?
What's that?
I'm expecting a shootout.
Oh,
I think both these offenses are going to go wild on each other. Okay. I agree with you with Buffalo's defense. I don't think they could stop anything right now. They go out there like Swiss cheese right now. You exactly. Do what you want on them. Mm-hmm. Philly, their defense has kind of been the same way. They leave big holes out in that defense. But, I mean, the last 3 weeks, I mean, A.J. Brown's got going. It's Saquon's averaging 100 yards a game over the last 3 games, all-purpose yards. I mean, their offense has finally started to click again.
Sure.
And, I mean, I think they'll carry in that momentum, but I think in the shootout standard of this, I think Buffalo's going to want this a little more, and I think that home field advantage is going to be the difference in that game. I like Buffalo in that game.
All right, gotcha. And that brings us down to our night game. Let's talk about it. Everyone's waiting to hear about it. Bear down, we got the Bears game. We've got the Bears taking on the 49ers in San Francisco and a 7:20 game. I mean, I am bear down in it. I'm on the Ben Johnson train. I'm on the Bears train. They believe in themselves. I think that there's a few things that can happen, but I think with this momentum and the Green Bay coming off a Green Bay win, the Bears will figure out a way to pull this off, regardless of whether it's in the next 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter again, as long as we can stay within a couple of points. 10, just like last week. We proved that. We can win it.
So, listen, I'm on the train. I'm all for this. And I'm all for the Ben Johnson thing. Great hire. I think it's working.
I think it's the best hire that the Bears have done.
Little bit different from you. I'm hitting my brakes a little bit right now.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm a skeptic, okay? I mean, bright lights come on, last 2 minutes. Give me the last 5 minutes in the fourth quarter this year.
Yep.
There's not another quarterback in the league I'd want other than Caleb Williams. 7 games? 7 game-winning, wins games in the last clutch time?
Yeah.
This year, he's won
in
those situations. Some have been amazing throws.
Unbelievable.
Totally on board with that. I love to see the completion percentage go up.
Yep.
But for me, I feel like off season, I don't think we got all of it. I don't think Caleb's anywhere near Ben Johnson's offensive playbook yet.
Not yet.
And I think the more and more that he gets that playbook down through the remainder of this season and into the playoffs at this point, and next off season, I think we'll slowly see that go up. I mean, if I seen that at over 60% next year, I'd be happy. I mean, that'd be progress. But I mean, some of these little. I feel like they're more intuition, safe throws he takes rather than trust and coach on where the ball needs to go. But let's get more back to this matchup.
What do the Bears need to do to beat San Francisco?
You gotta keep that offense off the field as much as you can. You need long, sustained drives. You need to be getting points out these drives.
Yeah.
And if you're not, I mean, that's where we spent a draft pick on Torrey Taylor. This is why we did it. We need to be controlling field position, and when we give it to them, we need to be giving it up deep in their own territory. And, it's kind of storyline all season. We're going to need the defense to probably make a couple big plays for us and find a way to turn them over, whether it's, a couple big fourth down stops or, an interception or a fumble recovery. I think that could be a big turning point in this game, and I think this game, like really how it transpires, especially in the second half, is going to go off momentum. Who gets the momentum and holds on to it in the second half?
I think a couple of things that the Bears need to do as well on top of that is we have to limit the amount of time that we give the ball to Christian McCaffrey. We've got to hold him down to some sort of limit of 100 yards, 120 or less yards on that, right? Because I feel like if we let Christian McCaffrey run all over us, it will be the end of the Bears game.
That's the thing for me, okay? So looking at San Fran's offense, like if I was a defensive coordinator, mentally speaking, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So you can only limit certain things here. So you either got to put that focal point on Christian McCaffrey and shutting down the run game and trying to shut him down from coming out the backfield on you.
Yep.
And make Purdy beat you through the air with his receivers and, his tight ends.
Yeah.
Or you have to say, hey, we're going to put the pressure on the passer, make him uncomfortable, but that's going to force them to lean on their run game, and you're going to have to trust your run defense to limit McCaffrey enough. Because if he goes off on you, he could go off for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and that could be the difference in the game.
Yeah, with the Bears not having Rome, but Luther Burden the third being back in, Burden's coming back in and starting to play. I think that's going to open up a few big plays. I really think Caleb needs to do the long ball and test the secondary of San Fran, who not the very best secondary in the league. But I think if we can at least try to do a couple field, we're going to need some passing. It's going to be Caleb.
And what you're saying, that San Francisco defense, with how banged up and hurt they are, they have 2 all-pros on that defense who are out for the season. And, they give up a lot of rush yards. They're, on the ground, average per game. So, if the Bears could really get that run game going and the offensive line looks pretty dominant like it has quite a bit this year, that really opens up what you're saying.
Got to control the clock.
Get those play-action passes and open up downfield and take a few shots this game and, try to take the top off that San Fran defense and, beat them to the punch and beat them at their own game.
Yeah, it's just, even to be talking right now about the Bears in playoffs clinching, as a Bears fan, I was born the year they won the Super Bowl, and I got to watch them play and lose to the Colts in the Super Bowl once. But other than that, the Bears have been the Bears, and I am just super stoked to be here, even talking about playoff games. It's just.
I agree with you, and that's why I'm still here as the one with a little bit of skepticism, because I'm still one of those who it's hard to still, hey, this seems too good to be true, and it's, now it's not too good to be true. You're in the playoffs no matter what now.
I think
regardless of what happens the rest of the season, you're in the playoffs, and you're going to get to play a playoff game for the first time since 2020.
Let's just keep drinking the Ben Johnson Kool-Aid like the players are doing in the locker room every day.
What a locker room and what a culture change they've had on this team.
I'm telling you, they believe in themselves.
Listen. We're talking a lot of heavy on the Bears here, but I got to give some respect to Kyle Shanahan too, and what he's been able to do with that team for all the injuries they've endured. And they're getting another weapon back this week in Ricky Pearsall. He's supposed to be playing this Sunday, and that's just going to give Purdy another weapon. And see if Purdy can't keep rolling. And it's just the trust that Kyle Shanahan really puts in that offense, and Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy, and each week they're in it, or they just completely own the game.
Horrible injury losses that they have since the beginning of the season.
What a way to overcome,
and
the position that both these teams
Brock
are.
Purdy being out.
Thinking about this 6 weeks ago with the injuries that the Bears are going through, or were going through, and the injuries that San Fran was going through, and still partially is going through. Both these teams are in contention for the 1 seed in the NFC still. Both these teams could have byes. If San Fran gets gets the first round. They got to win 2 games, and then they get to host a Super Bowl in their own stadium.
Bears.
What a story that would be for
yeah,
Kyle Shanahan this year. I mean, the Bears. I mean,
could you imagine the Bears getting home field advantage and forcing warm weather teams to come play a playoff game in Chicago in the middle of January? 20 degrees, snow plowing on the field. Oh my gosh, that's real football, guys. That's real football.
That's the definition of home field advantage.
Yeah, especially
that's the point of having home field advantage. And for all these stadium talks with the Bears, it sounds nice. New stadium sounds great. But as soon as we build that new stadium, that home field advantage for me is almost gone. Home field advantage in Chicago is you got to come to that blistering cold. You got to come deal with that strong winds coming off Lake Michigan up here, and you got to deal with the snow when you come to Chicago and the rain. Like, that's what playing in Chicago is all about, and knowing that when you are a Chicago Bear, that's the weather you like to play in. That is your weather. People come there, they don't want to play in your weather.
Agreed.
So,
100%.
I mean,
100%.
that would if they get if by chance the perfect scenario happens to where Seattle loses 1 and the Bears win out, we get the 1 seed. I could not imagine what Mother Nature would throw our way for that Bears home playoff game.
Gotcha.
And I guarantee you that stadium's still going to be packed inside and out.
Yeah, I somehow still think the Bears somehow will figure out a way to win as long as we keep it within a 1-possession game. All we need is 2 minutes to Caleb Williams. The Iceman comes in, the Iceman takes it away.
Either way, that game, I think the Bears will be happy to be out the cold weather for a week and down in Santa Clara. I mean, I like the Bears in this game. Obviously, you know why. But this is going to be a close game. There ain't going to be anyone handling anyone. We're going to get another playoff battle just like Green Bay and Chicago was last week, this Sunday night with Chicago at San Fran. That is going to be a dogfight. I look forward to it, and go Bears.
Yeah, bear down for real. All right, let's go down to our next segment. It's Hot Takes with Lispy Lou. Lou, what this week has got you hot, ready to spaz out and talk about? Go.
The college football playoffs, baby. Let's go. Already got the first round knocked out. Miami upset Texas A&M 10-3. That was a big snoozer of a game. But they got a matchup, and Miami's got to head and play Ohio State now, which the only team that team's faltered to this year was the Hoosiers, and I don't see them making that mistake again. I think they're going to be an easy out for Ohio State this week. You also had Ole Miss, no Lane Kiffin, takes out Tulane, 41-10, same exact score that Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss team beat Tulane by earlier in this year. I like Ole Miss over Georgia in this next round. Young Gunner Stockton, these bright lights get too big. I think Ole Miss can take out Georgia this week. Other game, Bama, they called it an upset on Oklahoma. I don't believe it. Bama was ready for that game. Oklahoma wasn't. They came out the gates and they were like, oh, we got this in the bag. And Alabama shoved it right down their throat, and Oklahoma didn't know what happened. But I can't walk away from the Hoosiers this week. Frank Mendoza and them boys look good. I think they end up taking Bama down, and that's what's going to be my next one. I think they're going to have a date with Oregon after Alabama. Oregon stopped JMU. I don't think JMU belonged there, but what do I know? Nobody listens to me anyways. But Oregon going to play Texas Tech. I think Oregon's going to ride the high of beating JMU and be ready to go. I think Texas Tech maybe had some little too much time off, goes out a little cold, and Oregon takes out Texas Tech. Second one, I'm ready for it. You ready for it?
Yeah, what is that?
We got our playoff predictions. My bold playoff predictions for this year. You want to know what's going to happen? I like the Bears in the NFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks this year. What do you think about that?
I think if it happens...
Shut up. This is my hot take. Why are you interrupting me? AFC side. I like the Broncos taking it to the AFC Championship game. And surprisingly enough, I think Houston's going to be the one who's creeping there, playing them to get into the Super Bowl this year.
Okay, throwing Houston out there.
All right, and hey, one more hot take. I'm going to be not a fan of the Utah Kyle Whittingham being hired by Michigan today. Everyone's all excited for this 5-year deal. I'm not. I mean, I'm not a Michigan fan, but if I was a Michigan fan, I wouldn't be too excited about this because all you guys got was an expensive bridge guy for 2 or 3 years before you fire him and bring the next guy who's better qualified, who's going to bring a team with him. Guys from Utah are not all going to jump on the bus and come on up here to Michigan and play for Big Blue. That's not how it's going to work. That school has more prestige going than that, and with all the background stuff going on and all the noise, I don't know who's really going to want to go to that school with confidence right now with all the options that some of these recruits have. And that's all I got for your hot takes.
I really like Kyle Whittingham. I think maybe he does something good for Michigan.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll happen right away. He knows what winning looks like, but I don't think he knows what a rival game between an Ohio State and the Michigan Wolverines look like.
The man coached from '94 to 25 for Utah. Okay, he's
21 years coaching for Utah.
He's still. Well, no, that's actually 31.
Oh, yeah.
But
sorry.
you know, hey, we never said you were a mathematician, all right?
All right, gotcha. All right, so with that, let's move into our last segment. It's going to be rapid fire. So rapid fire comes with rapid fire bets. Lou, who's hot this week in bets? What are you taking?
Hey, first game we got tomorrow, Texans Chargers. We're going to do count them, three anytime touchdown scores. Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey, Gatson, $10 gets you 364. Lock it in. And then Sunday, another 3-legger. We're taking Hurts. We're taking Zach Charbonnet. We're taking Sean Tucker from Tampa. 20 scores you 212. You're welcome.
All right, so with rapid fire after the hot bets, we're going to pull something out of our famous rapid fire hat. We've got some things. We'll talk about one thing this week, and we'll talk about something next week. Hot takes. That's what we'll talk rapid fire starting with Lou, and this one is going to be about Coach of the Year. I was hoping to get this one, as I knew you threw this in the bag. I was ready to go. So,
looking forward to this subject.
We have a couple. We have 5 on the list. 5.
Let's think about it. I mean, yeah, you gotta look at Mike Vrabel up in New England.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, they turned Drake. I mean, Drake May looked good at the end of last season, but you know, new head coach, new system comes in. They're doing as good as they're doing. I mean, he's got to be at the top of the list for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Johnson in Chicago. You know, can't look past him. You got Liam Cohen with Jacksonville.
Yeah, he's doing really good with Jacksonville.
I talked earlier about how I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to turn into a Tua situation and be getting benched and probably going to be looked at getting traded or cut at the end of this in the off season.
Yep.
And I mean, you can't forget Sean Payton out there.
What he's done with Bo Nix,
the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. I mean, what a step that team has made. I mean, a lot has to do with that defense, but I believe a lot has to do with that head coach and Sean Payton. I mean, they just talked about the game, you know, Bears San Fran. I mean, that game, I feel like whoever wins that game, that's who gets to jump to that number 2 spot behind Mike Vrabel for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Whether Kyle Shanahan, how beat up that team is, found a way to get wins with Matt Jones. When Brock Purdy was out, Brock Purdy comes back. Everything, all gears are greased up. Everything's flowing well with that team, and they're winning. I mean, and they're not a team There's not a team anyone would want to see in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you 100% on everything you say. My top 2 teams, I think, are going to be Vrabel. It's going to be Vrabel and Ben Johnson. You know, the way the culture changed that Ben Johnson has done in the Bears from last year to this year, and just taking the team and what he has, bringing them this far, bringing them to the playoffs. Nobody would have thought that would have ever happened in 100 years. At least maybe not next year. We're a couple years down from that, you would have thought. What Vrabel has done to the Patriots is what they wanted after Belichick and what they were looking for, and they couldn't get it.
Yeah. I see the thing for me, and this is where I'll retract a little bit because I don't want to sound a little homerish on this, but where I would like a Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen to go ahead and win that Coach of the Year award over Mike Vrabel this year is because these were both guys who came in to an organization as first-time head coaches, built a staff, and completely turned around the organization.
Yeah.
From last to first in a year, and no one expected either of these organizations.
Liam's working on year 2 now? Is Liam working on year 2 or year 3? Liam Cohen.
No, he's a new hire.
Is he a new hire?
He's a new hire.
Okay.
He's a new hire. So, I mean, that's why this...
So the three of them are all first-year rookie head coaches.
No, Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel coached Tennessee. So that's why I'm giving Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson for Coach of the Year. Because I seem like it's a little more impressive.
All right, I got you.
And I mean, when I break it down that much, I mean, like I said, without being a homer, I would probably give the edge to Ben Johnson because Ben Johnson came in with a second-year quarterback whose coach got fired last year, and he had 2 offensive coordinators last year, and this is his 3rd offensive system, 3rd head coach,
no offensive line,
second year in the NFL, and he's able to really just come in and not only help Caleb take the next step, but help this whole team take a next step together.
Yeah, from the top to the bottom.
So
of the
organization. I mean, most impressive. Coach of the year, whether he wins Coach of the Year or not, to me, at this point of the season, that's Ben Johnson for me.
I got that.
And listen, I look back at some games, and he made mistakes. He made mistakes that were pretty evident.
Sure.
But, I mean, I've seen Liam Cohen do that this year. I've seen Mike Vrabel. I've seen all the greats do that this year. That's it's part of coaching. That's where you learn from it. But he's been the most impressive with the just kind of raw young talent he had on that team, and I just think the staff, especially Dennis Allen, bringing him in on defense and what he's been able to do with that defense this year too. I kind of favor Ben Johnson for Coach of the Year if it's based off of what's the most impressive thing that a head coach has come into an organization and done this year.
I mean, if the Bears win out and somehow get the number 1 seed away from Seattle, somehow if the blocks all fall into place for a number 1
I
seed,
think that would
Ben
be
Johnson get it.
I think he would, even if New England wins out.
Yeah, okay.
Even if New England wins out and ends up winning the number 1 seed in the AFC.
So
because the cards fall right.
Sure.
I would still take Ben Johnson for Coach of the Year over Vrabel just because of the situation he was walking into. Mike Vrabel has been a head coach before. He's been in the playoffs with Tennessee before.
Yeah.
And, he's a seasoned head coach. That's exactly what New England needed to bring in and, build that structure, and they have. New England's done a great turnaround on that, and Vrabel's done a great job up there. But with just what Ben Johnson's done with this organization as a whole and the staff he's brought in, and the turnaround, it's just a little more impressive to me.
Yeah, 100% agreed with you. I don't have anything, and I think that's good for Coach of the Year. I really think there's a lot of games still left, 2 more games still left for some teams here.
That we could have different opinions about this next week.
Yeah, I think tomorrow we may have, next week we could have different opinions
exactly.
on it. Right? All right, well, that's a wrap on this week's Rapid Fire, Bears, NFC, and everything in between. I'm Action Jackson. That's Lispy Lou, and you just heard Fourth and Loud. We'll be back next week, louder, sharper, and ready to break down whatever the NFL throws at us. Stay loud, stay proud, and bear down.